Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, hello again, and welcome to a lesson on meeting people's needs. Needs are emotional. We talked in our last lesson on the physical wants. I want large or small. You know, the question of the ages is, what do you want, large or small? That's fast food, I guess. Tells where I eat a lot. But the needs are emotional. And we make more decisions, final decisions, based upon needs than we do wants. So what I really want is this, this, and this. And then you end up purchasing something totally different. What you purchased was something that you feel you need. Needs are emotional, and as a result, we feel fulfilled when we have our needs met. And so we want to look at the 5 motivations once again, and the needs structure of each, basic needs. And understand, we all have all 5 motivations, and we vacillate back and forth on any given day. One of these will be our high and the rest will be lower. But generally speaking, we tend to be people of habit. 84% of what we do every day is habitual. We do without even thinking about it. And so as a result, we developed in our personality and in our wants, needs, and desires and so on, a system that has highs, mediums, and lows. Things that are really important, things that are kind of important, and things that aren't that important. And that's what we're really looking at here. What are the things that turn each of these people on, that they're looking for in a product if you're a salesperson, or in a boss if you're in a leadership role? What are they looking for from you? And so we're looking at the needs of the fatalistic motivation. Now, once again, remember, the fatalistic motivation is an attitude. It's not a person. There's a lot of programs out there that label people, and I don't think you could do that because, first of all, we know that everybody's totally unique. We all have different fingerprints and on and on. So how in the world can we say this person is A because they do this? But what we can say is, at this moment, this person is reacting from this motivation, which causes me to have to be able to relate to that person based upon that motivation if I'm going to have a successful relationship, a good communication, a good working relationship. And if I don't, I won't. Every time you have failure, every time a breakdown in relationships, every time things don't go quite right. I was talking to a lady, and she was talking about all these people who are just getting on her nerves, and they're just beating up on her, and they're just... And I said, well, you know what you're doing? You're giving control of those people, of your emotions. They're operating from their emotional base. They're operating from what their needs are, and they might not be in harmony with your needs. So you have to understand people are different, and you have to appreciate the differences as opposed to be fearful of them and not like them. I think it's kind of interesting to meet people with different needs than mine that they jump through all these hoops to get these needs satisfied. And I can't see enough value in what they're going after to jump through the hoops. That's a whole lot of work, or a whole lot of dollars, or a whole lot of effort, or a whole lot of going without, or whatever it is to get to that point in their life. But it's that important to them. That carries that much value to them. And understand, you can't change people's values, and their values dictate their wants, needs, and desires. So really what we're looking at here is the person's lifestyle based upon their wants, needs, and desires, and based upon their value system. So the fatalist needs a job, they need security, they need a job basically that doesn't require a lot of decision making, they don't want a lot of power, they don't want a lot of recognition. What they like is a job that if they do the job quietly and get it done by the end of the day, everybody's happy and they get paid. They don't want a lot of fanfare, a lot of trumpets blown when they cross the finish line. They just want to kind of get there. By hanging in there for the last 45 years, I now have a retirement benefit. And for the rest of my life, I'm going to get paid this much money every month. It comes every month, whether I get out of bed or not. And that's good enough for me. And for 45 years, I just kept my nose to the grindstone, did what they told me to do, didn't try making any fuss, didn't have to have a lot of recognition, a lot of pats on the back. Just pay me on Friday, and I'll show up on Monday and go to work again. That's pretty much a comfort area for a person with a fatalistic fear. I don't want a lot of recognition, because with recognition comes a lot of responsibility. And responsibility carries opportunity for failure. And I don't want to be a failure. And it's amazing how much you and I do to avoid putting ourselves in a position where we have egg on our face, where we don't look good, where we kind of fall short. We don't like that. And that's the fatalistic fear. Why do it if I'm going to fail? Why try if I'm going to look bad? Why even give any effort if it's going to all fall apart anyway, is an attitude. And so from an emotional standpoint, the psychological needs for the person with this fear is to have a secure situation without a whole lot of responsibility. Easy to do. Taking something off a production line and putting it in a box. Painting this fence. Get all the paint on the fence and not on the ground, I get paid. Those kind of jobs are jobs that appeal to a person who doesn't want too much responsibility. Now, I'm not saying all people that do those kind of jobs are fatalistic, but I am saying people with fatalistic motivation like to do those kind of jobs, because you see, not that much responsibility. Just do what you're told to do and get it done and get paid. They want to be taken care of, and the way they get taken care of is good job security. Good job security comes from doing the job. Keep your nose to the grindstone. Don't make waves, just do it. Now, there are people that, with this fatalistic motivation, who meet their needs by asking for handouts. And they look sad, and they won't make eye contact with you, and they're really sad because they're so desperate for it. And it's a projection of this fatalistic give-up attitude and basically relating to and identifying with failure. And the best way you can help a person with this motivation is take responsibility for them. Just say, let me take the responsibility. Let me help you there. The exasperator needs, remember, the exasperator is the physical person, the one who makes things happen, who likes to drive heavy equipment because it's tough. They like tough words. Recognition for their power is what they need. Their emotional needs are best satisfied when you say, wow, that vehicle you're driving has a huge, that's powerful. Oh yeah. It goes along pretty good. I was talking to a young man the other day, and he has one of those big engines in his Dodge Charger, and it makes a lot of noise, and he can spin those wheels. That's where he is. He needs that power because that power makes him feel complete, makes him feel like he's got it all together. The person that has this motivation, the exasperator motivation, needs titles. First sergeant. That's a good title. First and sergeant. First lieutenant. First, anything first is always good. They like significant or signification, any symbols that show their strength. In the military, it's stripes and brass, and in the police force and law enforcement, it's the badge and the pistol, and all those things are symbols of power. And the person with this exasperator motivation needs recognition for that power, and so they wear the uniform proudly, and we're thankful for it. We're glad that that's important to them because that causes them to put that uniform on and protect the world and so on. The pistol of power. I was talking to an officer of the law recently, and he was talking about his pistol and his shooting range and all those things, and he has a lot of bragging rights because he's a high achiever with that pistol. It's a position. And when they have recognition for their position and their power, they feel complete. And so in dealing with a person with this motivation, instead of arguing with them, just give them a position. Give them recognition for their... You mean you're in charge of all these people? Do you mean that you can actually do that kind of work? Wow, that's something special. And given that kind of recognition causes them to feel at ease and open towards you. Their defense mechanisms fall. The psychological blocks turn into acceptance when you give them acceptance. Remember, what you project, you always attract back. If you project acceptance, you're going to be accepted. And that's what we're talking about in these 3 lessons, how to give acceptance to people in these areas of their needs, wants, their needs, their desires. Because if you do, you can establish a good working relationship, a good social relationship, a good sales relationship. And that's where we're going with this. The appraiser is the detail person, and they need proof. They need facts, figures, and details, and their needs are not satisfied until they can see proof. Studies that have worked, and these studies have proven that this will work this way and so on. Our tests of this vehicle have shown that it gets this kind of gas mileage and low maintenance and whatever. Anything that you can give proof of to a person that has the appraiser motivation will satisfy their needs. Their emotional needs are for proof. And you have to come up with that. If you don't, they probably will not buy whatever you're selling, whether it's directives as a manager or a leader, or a product or a service in a sales situation, or even socially in the family. They like documentation, and they like titles. Appraisers like titles that carry with it authority, and that satisfies their needs. That authority gives satisfaction to their need for proof. If you are the boss, then I'm going to trust you. If you are the knowledgeable one, I'm going to trust you. The relator needs are easy to read. They're simply acceptance, approval, appreciation, popularity. I need to know that you think I'm great. I need to know that I'm your best friend. I need to know that you would go to bat for me. I need to know you would defend me if anybody says negative things about me. Kind words, praise, recognition, all those things are super valuable to me from you. And so, in dealing with a client who has relator motivations, you're going to have to find some positive things about them where you can give them acceptance for those positive things. It might be the way they dress, it might be a hairstyle, it might be the car they drive. Wow, that's a beautiful car. Wow, what a lovely home. Wow. The more wows you can give a relator, the more the relator feels comfortable with you, and as a salesperson opens their minds to what you have to say about your product or your service. And in your presentation, then, you need to be able to say, the thing you're going to appreciate about this is people are going to be impressed with this product when they see it. They're going to be impressed with what you've achieved when you do this, this, and this. You're going to be able to build more friends. Network marketing is something I've worked with for years. People who offer business opportunities and products that they market, and the opportunity to join in with their organization and market products. And it's a great business. It's a great business for people to get into because they can write their own ticket. You are your own boss, and how hard you want to work, how much you want to develop your organization, that's how much money you're going to make each month. Relators love that kind of work because it's all relationship oriented. It's all people. I'm building my organization. I have my distributors. I have my people who are working with me, and we're building success for everybody in the organization. That's a great, has great high acceptability with relators, people with a relator motivation. Love motivated needs are to have working relationships, good working relationships in their workplace, good social relationships in their social life, good family relationships. Everything's based upon good relationships, because success to the love-motivated person is building trust relationships, building good relationships. So the needs of a relator or of a love-motivated person is to know that they have a good relationship with their spouse, with their children, with their employees, with their friends, with their clients. And often they will build such strong relationships that they live off of a referral business and sales. They have people wanting to come to work for them because they're such a great boss, because they give recognition, and they satisfy the needs of their employees. When you satisfy the needs of your employees, they stretch to meet your expectations. So discovering the needs of your employees is one of the job descriptions that should be a part of every job description of a leader, of a person in a leadership role. Understanding the needs. I should be able to ask you, what is Joe's needs? What does he really need from you on a day-to-day basis? You should know that, and you should satisfy those needs. And if you do, they're going to stretch to meet your expectations. You're going to have a highly productive organization with low turnover and high morale. And all of those are good things. So it's vitally important that we build trust relationships in all of these 5 different motivations, and we do it by satisfying their need structure. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about desires. Desires are spiritual. What is that? Just that aura, that part of life that makes me feel complete. We're going to look at it. It's a little bit hard to define, so I'm sure you'll find some value as we go through the 5 different motivations and their desires in life. Look forward to seeing you then.